challenge in a big way tonight?
One, they have no other choice, right? No, it's they've been doing it all year. There's been a lot of challenges through the years, just like I'm sure Bobby could say about his team too. That's what's so fascinating about it. You got two teams that, all these teams have answered a lot of challenge to get the opportunity here. So nothing's given to you. Everybody's giving you their best bolt. You're not living to fight another day. You're not trying to think about the next week. You're thinking about this 9 innings. And our guys have done a good job of that, staying in reality. And obviously there's a little different circumstances because of the consequences of not winning.
Okay, we're going to go right down here in the front on the right to Andy.
Hey, Buck, just what made you decide to go with Ruff over Alvarez there?
Two good choices. You know, the front office and people have, they've done a great job all year in the offseason providing us with some good options. But a little history there. I like the flexibility it gives us with the catchers. You know, one of the things that Francisco brings, obviously he can catch. Darren's got a little more track record, especially where the Padres are concerned, being in the National League West so much, knowing a lot of their pitchers. But we'll see. He's worked very hard to get back here physically and just from a standpoint of working on his trade. So we'll see if he can get back to his track record.
From Alvarez being so inexperienced at this level, do you have any concerns about handling a pinch hit at bat in a big playoff spot?
Sure. Yeah, it's something you think about, but it's part of the equation. Snell, if you look at the matchup too, with what Snell, you feel like he's going to try to do to hitters, and what he's done in the past, and it's going to probably be able to do, to some extent. So we'll see.
Laura, down here in the front.
You've faced elimination games in the playoffs in the past. Is the way that you approach it, either mentally or in terms of managerial decisions, mutated or shifted over the years?
Did you say mutated?
Yeah, I couldn't think of the word.
I like that, though. That's good. That's a good way to describe it. I feel, sure, I hope so. We're faced with situations in life, and you do something a certain way, and it does work out. You hold on to it, and it doesn't work out. You kind of have a way of shuffling the deck. So I hope so. It's kind of like, somebody says, is somebody pressing? Gosh, I hope so. That means you care. So, I think not just in sports, but we're all faced with things in life that we go, gosh, let's try something else. So that's one of the things about experience. I just tell the players sometimes with different stuff, listen, I've done what you're doing and it didn't work out. So I think it'd be a really poor thing to say about somebody if they didn't adjust to the things that life throws at them and the experiences that they get.
Can a manager start pressing, and if so, how do you deal with that?
Oh, yeah. You can want something too much. Players, coaches, managers, you can want something too much, but, trying to temper that, because you can do all these things that loosen people up, and then all of a sudden the magnitude of what you're trying to accomplish. What's tough is you played all these games, and you got a certain mindset and mentality, and then, that sense of finality comes in there. You're just looking for something to get a toehold and get some things going that you're capable of.
I'm going to go to Howie on the left.
Buck, did you have a pretty good feel when you left here last night that Marte would be able to get back up into the 2-hole today, or did you need to speak to him when you got here today?
Yes and yes. I felt like because the way he felt after the game, but I didn't, put it in ink until we saw him and talked to him this morning and today when he got here physically. But I didn't jinx ourselves by saying it was a given after last night. That was something I'm proud I took out of last night. We've seen it before, this guy. Next year when you try to have somebody go out on rehab, well, what about Marte? That's how you get trust with a guy, or he gets trust with me, because I've seen him say something and it's come to pass. You just kind of, he's been doing this a while. He's 33 years old. He knows his body. And you think about the challenges he faced last night physically with the slides and the ball that he caught next to the wall. I felt like leaving here that if there was an issue, we would have known last night. But he also, with bated breath, wait till the sun comes up and see if something's happened overnight.
I'm sure you were waiting with bated breath to see how he reacted just when he swung the bat in a game, made contact. Was there anything you saw in him last night that particularly impressed or encouraged you?
No, it's
Is that bats I'm
it's
talking
there.
about?
It's there, but I know he missed a breaking ball. He thought that he left out over the plate that he flew out on. I could tell that when I saw him kind of upset at that. It didn't have something to do with his finger. He just didn't put the swing on he wanted to put on it. But you watch him off ball a lot. There was a ball that I thought there were two things I was worried about off the end of the bat and the jam. And there were a couple there that probably bit him a little, but I watched him between innings, and especially after the ball that he went back and caught on the wall and the slides, I wanted to see the slides and see what type of, contact he was making with his finger, but it's good so far.
Far right, Fitz.
Buck, that's what I was going to ask about the slides. I know players, are used to doing things a certain way their entire lives, their entire careers, but any discussion with him about not sliding head first with that
No, as
finger?
long as he's using the right hand. If you noticed last night, that's hard. You got left-footed sliders, right-footed sliders. Just like you got left-handed hitters and right-handed hitters. You have left-handed head first and right-handed guys. If I took 30 baseball players on the field, you'd be shocked at how many of them, I'd say 29 of them can't slide on both legs. So you have left-footed and right, when one of the things through the years, when you got a guy that could slide on both legs, like Bernie Williams, you thought about switch hitting them. It's one thing I found through the years, that if a guy could slide on both legs, you could think of Posada could slide on both legs. That was one of the first times I remember we were doing the sliding drills back when they did those. Instructional league, Bernie could slide on both legs. But I'm surprised. I asked Marte one time, we never got deep in the conversation why nobody ever switch hit him when he was a young kid. I'd still like to know. I don't know if he can slide on both legs. I'm not going to change him. But he's been able to go with both hands. I think it's easier for guys to control their hands as opposed to their feet and their legs. I mean, how many of y'all can slide on both legs? You can be a switch hitter. What else?
What else we got for Buck? Anything? Thanks, Buck.
Harold, you need to follow his lead. They were waiting on you to ask a question, but you were slow on the draw.
I can write on both legs. Huh? I can write on both legs.